Hey everybody, it's probably Jamie and welcome back to my channel. But if you're new here, I guess just welcome and I hope you enjoy this video. Today we are going to be doing something more art related and definitely art video. This is going to be a speed paint of this piece that I did yesterday. I definitely wanted to do something art inspired and post it on my channel because I did say that I wanted to get more into art type videos. So I just decided to go for it and make the speed paint. Now it's not the best, but I really like the way it turned out in the end. I really hope you guys enjoy this video as well. Make sure to leave a like and comment, and yeah. Now what I just did there was the little thumbnails for my painting, and I ended up choosing the one with the little shrine temple things, Japanese shrine thingies. I don't know. I probably should have looked that up before this video, but yep, that's all I'm gonna say. I really wanted to give this piece a lot of depth and like levels, so what I ended up deciding with this whole thing is to have it like come out of the water and walk towards a path in this shrine temple thing. And it would show a little bit of fish and a little bit of things in there, but as you'll see along in the video, I did not end up recording a bottom portion of the video, which I do apologize for, but that's just what happened. But continuing, it ended up being like this forest type piece where you climb out of the water and up the stairs, and I really think I captured that really well. I think I could have done a lot better with this piece, but I definitely haven't created a piece of art in a while because I've just been afraid to put something on paper and have it not look that great. But after doing this, it really made me see that I definitely know what I'm doing and have some type of style or eye for art. I mean, I always did, but it's different after finishing an art piece because then you're like, oh yeah, I made that and it looks okay. But that's not always the case. Like with this one, it's okay and it's good and I really like the way it turned out. But without the practice that I used to have, I guess, this didn't turn out that well, but it turned out okay. It turned out really well. And now I'm just going over the sketch lines with my inking pen. And my line work on this was pretty good. But again, it could have been better. But it was kind of just like a quick rough sketch because I just wanted to get some lines on there to have like the definite border so I didn't cross over when I went in with watercolors. And it did help a lot to keep that bright red in because I started with some light tones of red and moved into darker reds, and that really helped me a lot to distinguish from what I am supposed to be coloring and what I'm not supposed to be coloring. And let me tell you something. These stairs took me so long to do. They were so complicated, I had to make each little individual stair because I had to make it look like stairs. Which, I mean, that is what they are, is stairs. But I think that was the most difficult thing in the beginning, was drawing all those little stairs and make line up in a very specific way. And now I'm just drawing a couple boulders around, have some rock, give it some texture, I guess, because I don't want everything to be covered in leafy green and foliage, so I just decided to throw a couple boulders in there, give it some different colors. I had to be very careful when I was doing this because red is such a bright and like invasive color that it pretty much shows through every other color that you layer upon it. Unless maybe if it's like black or like a dark color. But I had to keep the red in these lines, so to keep myself from like going over, I did leave some white spaces in some places to give it that, I guess, the shadow effect when I go over it with another red, because over time I'm going to be adding more and more red and layer that on so it can have like a 3D effect in a way. And as for the trees, they were pretty easy to do, I guess, since it's just like a brown stalk with different textures of brown. But I did have trouble with the foliage that went around them, because like in between the tree, like where the foliage stops and then there's just like tree bark and then like tree leaves, in between the tree leaves and the foliage there's like a space there that I didn't know what to fill with, so I just ended up filling it with more foliage, which I do wish it turned out a little bit different with the trees. I like the colors, I just wish they were more bold and like separate. They kind of all just blended in together, which I think happened because I was just layering them on one after the other, not giving them enough time to dry. But also because I did use a lot of water while I was applying it, so it kind of all just mushed together. But I did like the effect it got. And now I'm just dumping water into my little palette, which was a mistake because I ended up spilling a lot of it. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about going over the red with more red. I ended up, I think, going over it at least 6 to 7 times with different shades of red to get the exact red and get the opacity I wanted. And now you can see, like, where in the trees I didn't let the paint dry all the way, so there was definitely some mixing of the colors and it kind of blotched in together. But I do like the effect that it's kind of like flowing and wavy-ish in a way. And while I was painting all of this, I did end up painting the bottom portion where the water was going to be. I went over it with a couple of coats of like a light blue, very light, and I also ended up adding 2 big fish and little tiny fish in there that you can see later on in the video. But half of the bottom portion of the piece did disappear, so you can see right here that I'm painting the blue fish and the blue flames of the pillars. I was kind of upset that I missed like a whole portion of the piece, which now is kind of like sad because I'm editing it and it just doesn't look right because now half of it's just gone. But it's okay because I finished the piece. It ended up looking good and I enjoyed it. And now I'm just going over with some finishing lines, finishing the shrine thing, adding leaves, which I didn't really understand how to like draw in the leaves, so I kind of just went to Pinterest and looked it up, but all those didn't really tell me anything. I was kind of thinking that maybe I should have left it like that, but I definitely wanted to give it that pop to make it look like leaves and not just like foliage and have it be a bush. So I ended up just drawing like little lines on them, and I drew lines around the fish, the pillars. I added some extra lines to the rocks and drew some little pebbles, and I think I drew a couple plants in the water, but not too much. But you can see here how I added the lines to the foliage and to the tree foliage, and I ended up like outlining them very lightly with a free-flowing line so they could give that flow, I guess. And you can see that it kind of looks like trees now. I do like the way that they were defined by the lines. And then for the final touches, I ended up going in with a white jelly roll and just adding some white to the top of the water, making it look like splashing waves kind of, and added some white lines all over to give it that sparkle, like water has that sparkle when the light hits it. And then I also put some white lines around the pillars and on some of the fish and more on the water, and just threw some white lines in there to give everything some highlight. And this is it. This is the final product that I ended up with. I ended up really liking the way it turned out. It's hanging right now on my wall. And this is the finished product. As you can see, now that you can see the water, I think it turned out really well. Those little white minnows, the giant trees, and the red shrine. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more. Love and peace.